Yes, sir, and welcome back to another Dark and Darker mobile video. So, I decided that I was going to do the Rogue Advanced Guide, you know what I'm saying, solo, team play, you know what I'm saying, this is Nightmare Mode, everything that you need to know basically about the Rogue, how you can maximize your profits. And so, boom, let's get on into it. Again, the Rogue is a very lightweight class that specializes in movement, DPS, and basically, you know what I'm saying, getting in and out, sticking moving, you know what I'm saying, but in basically being an annoyance for the team, because if unchecked, a Rogue can basically stat check you into the ground, and they will just basically like damage you up. It will be so bad. You will be, you know what I'm saying, sustained damage due to, you know what I'm saying, if you pick the right perks and everything that we went over in the Rogue guide. Boom. Cool. Another thing that comes down to it is either finding a good set of teammates or utilizing the mercenary system to your advantage. I told you I personally like to opt in having a priest and either a barbarian or a fighter. Like I said, you could go ranger. Ranger could also work really well, but I would probably more or less pair a priest ranger with maybe more of a barbarian fighter type of thing, depending on how you particularly like to go. But I like barbarian and a priest basically because, you know, I'm a little squishy, so I don't want to necessarily have the aggro dropped onto me. As you've seen right there, the skeleton champion basically almost stat checked me. Had he hit me again, I would have been dead. And then but you see the priest doing their job. So as long as you have two people keeping aggro, you know, you're really good. You don't really necessarily need like A or S rank, as long as you're really careful in Nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Just keep aggro, keep yourself alive. You don't want to get hit into the ground, because then basically they'll just like, I don't know, the enemies just will just aggro your mercenaries, and then they'll just be done. Boom. Same thing with approaching a team. You know what I'm saying? You want to try to get first pick, like as a rogue, because you know you have your invincibility and your stealth and all of that. You are like, your potential for like first picks is really high in like a team fight, and necessarily you want to aim for the enemy team's like outward support, be it their ranger, mage, priest, you know what I mean, something like that. That's something that you would particularly want to prioritize getting down in a team fight for your particular role. You could potentially take on like a fighter. Barbarian is where it gets a little sticky, because they can literally one-shot you to the head. So I would try to more or less leave the barbarian for when you've already like taken out their buffs and stuff like that. Like, as we go into these advanced guys, I'm gonna like give you like tips of how I would particularly approach them with these classes, and teach you how to counter each class, because each class has a specific set of weaknesses and advantages over other classes. It just depends on how you look at it. Like, you know what I mean? It just really depends on how you look at it. Like, and with the rogue is really good at closing the gap, sustaining damage, but they're also really good at getting out. So the thing with the rogue is, you want to sustain your life, because a sustained fight with the rogue is very dangerous, because when you're on a bunch of cooldowns and you don't necessarily have those abilities that can just one-shot the rogue is like the most powerful part. Like, once the fight has entered that standstill phase where everybody has bucked their cooldowns and everything, everybody's kind of waiting for stuff, everybody's kind of like melee fighting and sick, that is where the rogue shines the most, because they're the one person who's like, the weak point is always on. Like, you always have your poison dagger. You're always capable of putting out damage that sustains damage. So even if they're not necessarily like dying or anything, they're eating up heals, they're taking damage, they're being very cautious of not letting you. You're very good at drawing the attention, but you're also good at escaping that same attention and making people prioritize you as their focus, leaving them open to attacks. You know what I mean? That's like, boom. Like, that was like a lot. I sound like a nerd. Oh god, I'm that guy, you know what I mean? But I love this game. This game is like so fun, bro. And it's like, I just put a lot of time in like on the rogue, and the rogue just like literally is one of the more flexible classes, very suited to solo play. It just gets very sticky with the mobs and stuff like that. As long as you're, like I said, you could try to go in solo, but I wouldn't recommend like straight, just like no matching, nothing. I wouldn't recommend it. You literally get like one shot by just about anything as soon as you mess up, and it just be like, just really wouldn't be worth it. But like I said, you'll see right here, right? A dude's gonna hit me, and he's gonna like take a chunk. Like it's somewhere. I'm gonna get hit by something, and it's gonna take like a crazy chunk. No, it's actually no. It's the wizard. See, And then you see he's getting stat because he doesn't have good. Please, that's another thing for this advanced guy. Invest in purple blue gear. You know what I'm saying? Actually make your stats matter and stuff like that. Like dude, you like the gray gear is just not gonna cut it. It's just not, like, especially when you start going up to, like, you know, nightmare and hell modes, the health difference with just the general mobs and the way that you like have to approach this map is like you're exploring a dungeon. You can't just run past the mobs. You have to actually systematically take down the mobs while rationing your heals and all of those things like that. You know what I'm saying? You'll see noticeably I'm focusing on the circle. The mobs are really easy to take down once you understand that you just have to take them one at a time, slow it down, you feel me? Don't let them hit you because you do not want to get caught where you have to start healing, and do not aggro a bunch of mobs at once, especially when you start to get into the nightmare and the hell modes, because the mobs have like longer attacks. They do a lot more damage. There's a lot more of them, and if you start aggroing them, they will probably follow you all the way through the map. And once you start getting aggro, it's very like it takes a long time to like close and open doors, so it's very hard to get. And you just don't want them to start busting down doors. And you don't want to like be aggroing a mob and then run into a team and now it's just like, yeah, you like, you know what I'm saying? So really the biggest thing when you start going up to the tiers, because I see that's probably where a lot of people, they stop at the hard mode, like just take your time, invest in good gear, invest in heals, and just make sure that you're staying in the raid long enough to get a maximize on your investment, especially when you go into the hell modes because of that 500 gold entry fee. Make sure that you're picking up a gold stack to cover that entry fee, but also maximize it. Make sure that you're picking up your jewels and all of that. Make sure that you're stacking them. Make sure that you're prioritizing the gears. Everything is very nice and color coded, and it, like, you know, the game does a very good job of letting you know what and what doesn't, like what is more valuable than what, but everything has value and everything fits in a one slot space. So just making sure that you're filling up your entire backpack with the max rarities that you can, staying in raids, surviving long enough, bringing enough heals, and just sometimes you really don't have to fight teams. There really are times where you're stat checked and you just have to like try to do your best to get away, and if you can do that, then also take that as a victory and just take what you can get and leave. Like, you really just don't want to be in a situation where you are basically just down and you're losing a fight that you were never gonna win. Like, these guys basically got stat checked, like, you know what I mean, straight up. Like, but basically just learn to play survival, play your life, take your time with the mobs, and just really come prepared and make sure that you're investing in your survival. You know, good gear, you know what I'm saying, ample heals, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you're getting your utilities, your willpower potion, protection potions, you know what I'm saying, your invisibility potions, even if you're not like necessarily the mage or the rogue class. So I hope you enjoyed this advanced guide, and I hope that helped you in your rage, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Never.